This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Welcome to Good Morning Uganda Extra here on UBC TV. I'm Robert Chirabonyonyitono, and it is quite drizzling, rainy. So in case you're coming to town, don't forget to carry yourself a jacket, a cardigan or something to keep you warm. In case you have infants, then ensure you protect them. Leave them in safe hands. They have that tendency of playing in the rain and, of course, infections and all that. We don't want you to spend money on treatment, so be very cautious with these little ones. It is Robert Chirabonyonyitono, and I'm having a guest. One of the people that are doing a great work in our education sector, and that is the Vice Chancellor of the International University of East Africa. Now, when we talk about this university, of course, we are going to be discussing education, and today we are going to be looking at technology and innovation in the private education institutions. Now, we talk about technology and innovation. We all know it's the way to go. The world is now looking at people who can come up with solutions to the problem. It's a continent, it's a world full of technology and innovation. And when we talk about that in our education institutions in Uganda, well, the International East African University for Uganda's case is one of those that are outstanding when it comes to the area of technology and innovation. That's why I have Professor that is Emeke Akwazukwa with me in studios this morning, with whom we are going to be discussing more, since he comes from this university that has greatly invested into technology and innovation. Professor, you're most welcome to our studios.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It is a pleasure, and thank you for endeavoring the rain and being here with us.
Yeah.
Now, Uganda, we are blessed not only with our weather, but with the number of universities.
Yeah.
So briefly, throw more light when we talk about the International University of East Africa. What is this university about? Of course, I know it. Many could have come across it. That's at Kansang, where you see the post and all that. But what do you do? What is this university? What is the uniqueness of this university?
Yes. Thank you very much. Good morning, viewers. Like he said, my name is Professor Emeka Akezua, and I am the Vice Chancellor of the International University of East Africa, popularly known as IUEA. The International University of East Africa is a young, dynamic university that was created to solve, the problem of innovation, the problem of good solutions, well-trained students who can go into the job market today and be able to compete with anyone from anywhere in the world in terms of critical thinking, problem solving, and the use of technology to solve everyday problems. So the university started in 2010, opened its doors in 2011, and last year, 2022, we got a charter from the National Council for Higher Education and the Ministry of Education. So it's been a very exciting journey for us, and from its founding, the university was made to be different, to stand out in the sense that the founders realized that in this age, the 21st century, technology is a defining thing. Technology is what makes societies or individuals to either succeed or to fail. The ability to use technology is critical. So therefore, the founders made it kind of one of the foundational pillars for the university to be one of the best in this area. And its vision is to be the technological university of choice in Africa, period.
I love that, technological university of choice in Africa. Now that brings me also that you look at, when we talk about technology and innovation, these words move together. But I know you're a professor, but to simplify to the lay person, when you talk about this particular university that looks at technology and innovation as their niche in the education sector, what do we mean by technology and innovation?
Okay. technology has, of course, the simplest, obvious one that everybody knows is the gadgets you hold in your hand, the smartphones, right, the tablets, the self-driving cars, all physical technology that you can see, touch, that makes our lives easier, whether it's in medicine or in commerce. But technology, in a way, in a real sense of the word, is the ability to apply knowledge, scientific knowledge, modern processes, modern ways of thinking to solve a problem. So there is the hardware part of the technology that we all know, and there's the intellectual part of it. So that means people who are trained in the scientific method, people who are trained to look at a problem and then use modern techniques to provide a solution. So when we talk about technology, we are talking about processes in terms of thinking that is applied to a problem. So that is the essence of technology. And innovation, of course, is the ability to bring new ideas, new ways of doing things, new ways of solving an existing problem. So it could be a slight modification to how things are done to create efficiency and to create ease of use using that thing. That thing could be a car, it could be a medical practice, it could be a legal approach to an existing problem, it could be a business idea, the use of data to identify customers, for example, in business, to identify patterns of use, those who have bought versus those who have not bought, why they have not bought. So to use software, some intelligence to filter all that and to be able to categorize customers easily and quickly. Things that would have been difficult for an individual to do manually by looking at a whole bunch of data, using some statistical analysis and all that. So that would be difficult. But innovation, when you bring software that can analyze data very quickly and very efficiently and produce output results that you can choose from, that can be innovation. Innovation can also be some of the things we are doing, like the electric motorcycle that I'm sure a lot of viewers have heard about, moving motorcycles from petrol-based to electricity or other means.
They're phasing away fossil fuels.
Phasing away fossil fuels by use of electricity. As you know, petrol causes climate change problems. So one of IUEA's innovation with its partners is to create an electric motorcycle, but not just an electric motorcycle, but to create an electric solution, clean energy solution. So in the areas of transportation, so we look at motorcycles, we could also look at cars. Also in the area of agriculture, we have smart, clean tractors that use solar power rather than rather than petrol. Also in transportation also, but boats, electric boats, so that we don't pollute the lake with petrol. So innovation is looking at new ways of doing things in a cleaner way, in a more efficient way, in a more easy to use, use way, and also making that solution available to anybody, so you don't have to be an expert in order to be able to use that solution. So we have that solution in terms of the electric, solutions to climate change, and also to bring down the cost of transportation. Because if we use solar, we use electricity, the cost will be much cheaper. And as you know, with the Russia-Ukraine war, the price of petrol went up very high, and it impacts people in terms of the ability to pay for transportation, for the border riders, their ability to fuel the motorcycle and run it. So innovation brings about changes in terms of helping the climate, in terms of also helping people to save money.
Okay. Well, we are still discussing, that is technology and innovation, and I have the Vice Chancellor of the International University of East Africa, with whom we are discussing more of this. Remember, this is one of the centers of excellency when it comes to universities. We have that specialized in this area. And today we want to know how things moving on, mostly in the private sector. We know our government is investing so much in science and technology, but now we look at academic institutions. This is a private institution, but where we see that one of the things they have taken as a priority is technology and innovation. Now, Professor, how easy is it or hard is it for a private institution to specialize or to have this as one of the niche when it comes to what they offer there?
It is not easy, but it takes a real sense of dedication, a real commitment to technology, to creating the kind of workforce that the country needs in order to make progress in the 21st century. So it is not easy for private universities because all the funding, there's no public funding coming into the private universities. So they have to do it all on their own. You know, that is the way it is today, but I hope it will change, because at the end of the day, whether it's a public university or a private university, the main role of the university is to create the mindset, the workforce, the skills, and the opportunities that the country can use to make progress. So it's not easy because everything comes from the university. This forces the university, of course, to be more creative, to be more innovative in terms of the curricula they provide, in terms of the way they teach, and also in terms of what they do. You know, I think that is what fuels IUEA. You know, we are really pumped up to be the best in this area. So our niche is innovation and, you know, technology, and we see it as the best place to be because that is what the modern world demands. That is what the modern workforce demands. Companies are looking for people who are well trained, people who can help them to increase the bottom line. And this means people who can think in a modern way, using what I've described earlier in terms of using best practices, using technical know-how, using modern ways of thinking, you know, because today you create a difference by innovating. Okay, that is the key. So IUEA understands that very much, and that is why IUEA is pursuing this area, because it requires a lot of investment, whether it's in engineering to buy all the lab equipment you need. You know, we have petroleum engineering, we have civil engineering, you know, just, you know, some of those. We have architecture. These things require modern technology today, right? Because the technology you used to do architecture, you know, 15, 20 years ago is not the same as what you need today. You know, the same thing goes for science and technology, right? We are talking about artificial intelligence. We are talking about machine learning. We are talking about virtualization. We are talking about simulation. These things you didn't talk about before because they were not big things, you know, that universities were paying attention to. Universities, most of them use the traditional approach, you know, which does not emphasize technology a lot, but that was the past. IUEA is about today and about the future. And when we talk about that, we are talking about machine learning, we are talking about artificial intelligence, we are talking about robotics, we are talking about cybersecurity. Okay, and these things are not highfalutin concepts and ideas. They are integrated into everyday life today. Like I mentioned earlier, when you talk about artificial intelligence, you talk about machine learning. These are the key things in business today.
That ordinary person has to use.
That ordinary person has to use. That businesses themselves that want to succeed have to deploy, have to hire the people who can manage those things and continue to invest in them. So you hear about ChatGPT, it's all over the news. That is AI, you can ask it any question. It can provide answers for you. It's software. It can help you with essays. It can help you with questions, history, what have you. So those things are here to stay, today. And we have to teach people how to use it or not use it. In the area of education, there's a lot of fear about this new technology, that it is going to make students just copy-paste. But there are ways to handle that.
Yes.
So, but IUEA has focused in this area, has specialized in technology and innovation, because it is a key identifier or a key distinguisher between those who can move forward and those who will be left behind.
Well, interesting. It is all about technology and innovation. It is Good Morning Uganda Extra on UBC TV. I'm Robert Chirabo, and I have the Vice Chancellor of the International University of East Africa, Professor Emeka, with me this morning. We are trying to better understand how our education institutions, what are they doing in regards to technology and innovation. And this particular university happens to be having innovation and technology as top on their agenda. Now, Professor, who do you admit for these particular areas and fields you've talked about? Are they people who are doing masters? Are we having fresh people from secondary A level? Who gets the opportunity to be part of this wonderful university, and of course, therefore, the programs that you offer, particularly in this area? Because that's what everyone is talking about. When you hear Our Excellency, His Excellency Eric Kaguta Museveni, he will tell you innovation, science, we have a ministry. So there's so much we need as far as human resources concerned.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So for our bachelor's program, it's students who have A levels. Now they can go into our bachelor programs. We have 4 faculties. Faculty of Business, Faculty of Engineering, Faculty of Law, and Faculty of Science and Technology. So these are our bachelor's programs. We also have higher education certificate. So, but for our bachelor's programs, it's A levels. And of course, we also have the Master of Business Administration and the Master of Information Technology. So for our master's programs, you need a bachelor's degree, to get into these areas. And we are looking for people who are interested in technology. If you are interested in technology, you come to IUEA, you have a fantastic environment where you can grow. And whether it's in business or in law or in engineering or in science, we teach our students the importance of creative thinking, the importance of problem solving, because all these things relate to problem solving. You cannot solve a problem without actually being able to know the steps needed to break down the problem and to find an effective solution. So A levels to get into our bachelor's programs, and a bachelor's degree to get into our master's programs. And from top to bottom, whether it's in law, business, engineering, we infuse all our classes with that ability to do the critical thinking, that ability to solve real-world problems. So because that is where the whole thing is. So we do applied research, applied teaching, student-centered teaching, right? Because the whole idea is all these theories that the students are learning, that we are teaching, they are to be applied to something. We don't just teach so you pass an exam, get a piece of paper, and then go out in the field. And then when you are given a job, you can't do it. You can't solve the problem. Okay, that is one of the things that the founders wanted to solve also. Because if you read the papers, companies are complaining. We hire students, they can't do anything. And that is because there's too much focus on the theory.
Technology and information are more of practical.
Yes, absolutely, you are correct. It's very practical, hands-on. And that is what we do. And our mission, the mission of IUEA, is to provide an excellent education that includes practical experience and skills. So you can see from day one, our vision is to be the technological university of choice in Africa. Our mission is to provide an excellent education that includes practical experience and skills, because you cannot do technology in the real sense of it by just doing theory. So that practical experience is enshrined, and that is why we're able to produce what we are able to produce. And that is what makes us different. We don't just teach students, this is the theory of AI, this is the theory of architecture, now you go out in the field. No, they actually practice it. We put them in a group, and we encourage them to go try and fail. They take apart, machines, put them back together again, just to understand what the process is, what the different components are, how they come together to work as a unit to solve a problem. So for us, it has always been to make a difference out in the real world by actually providing concrete solutions, solid solutions to real world problems. Because we can sit and theorize, so we can do basic, basic research and the like.
But you're not providing a solution to the problem.
We are not providing a solution to the problems.
Actually, you're adding to, if that happens, you'll be just adding to the problems. Because they will assume these are people who know, but they don't know. And that has been the biggest problem with our graduates. That these are guys who have gone through school, but literally can't do anything in regards to that field because it has not been hands-on.
Yes.
No wonder it has not been about technology and innovation that require that. But let's also, Professor, look at public perception. You mentioned some of the courses that you offer. Maybe that you will do also, again, re-echo them. But, I don't know if it is the colonial masters that left us with that mentality that many people do not see such as what they should go for today. People were still locked in some about 4 or 5 professions that if you graduate with this, you graduate with that. This seems more of maybe...
I think it's a colonial carryover. Yes.
Yeah, that's because if I'm a lawyer, if I'm a doctor, if my child came and said, well, I'm going to the international East Africa University, one would say, what are you going to study? Well, I want to do something to do with technology and innovation, and someone feel, okay. But so are there maybe those outstanding achievements in the world of innovation? You've not been around for so long, but as a university that you can say, yes, the International University of East Africa, we've been able to have this and do this, and this is something, we're working on this project, so that it shows to others, yes, these are things that answering a problem, making a solution to a problem, this is what you should be going for.
Yes. Well, to what you've said, a lot of universities have stuck to the colonial educational structure,
yes,
which is to produce bureaucrats, so to speak. But in today's world, it's technology that rules. So IUEA is not about producing bureaucrats. IUEA is about producing technocrats, technologists, problem solvers, visionaries, people who are going to look at the world and say, this is what is happening today. We think this is what the world will need, and be able to forge a path and build something. So IUEA is not going along the traditional old educational path of producing bureaucrats. That means that in all of our programs, in business, we have, business administration, we have, tourism, we have accounting, we have a variety of business courses. So if someone says, I'm going to go to the International University of East Africa, one thing, the parents should applaud them, because it means the student has done their research and they know that this is a university that can, that can produce excellent students. Tracer studies on our students show that the rate of hiring is very high and a lot of them also start their own businesses. So we are not only training them to go look for employment because there's so much employment that's out there, but we are training them to be the job creators themselves by producing something, that will also allow them to hire other people. So if a child tells their parent, I want to go to the International University of East Africa, the parent should be very happy, because they know their money will not be wasted. Their child will be nurtured, they will be mentored to be the best that they can be in their chosen area, whether it's in accounting, in what have you. And the technology and innovation we talk about at the International University of East Africa is applicable to accounting, it's applicable to tourism. So, for example, because sometimes when parents hear the technological university of choice, they think, oh, you are going to go be an engineer, you are going to be building robots, you're going to be building all this. But they forget that innovation and technology is everywhere on the farm. Okay, farmers that make a difference use technology. You can no longer use hoe and machetes today with oxen and what have you, and be able to produce the amount of food we need.
Yes.
Okay. A couple of years ago, Ugandan was a few million people. Today, Uganda is about 43 million people. You need food to feed them. You cannot use manual means to do that kind of a thing. So at IUEA, if a child wants to study business, it's the best place to come to, because we integrate technology into business, modern technology, the use of AI to distinguish a business. We encourage them. You can go and build the best business in Uganda by using these methods. You can build the best business in East Africa, or in Africa, or in the world for that matter. There is no limit to what you can do with the kind of creative thinking, with the kind of knowledge you get from IUEA, with the kind of mentorship you get, with the kind of encouragement you get to go out there and do big things. So any student who wants to come means they know what they are doing, and the parents should be happy with that. So how do we now integrate all of this? So, for example, let's use agriculture, like I mentioned earlier, in terms of the solutions we have for electric mobility. We have the electric tractor that I already, mentioned.
So these are innovations that have been done at the International University of East Africa,
yes,
by the
along with our
students.
partner, yes, students and our partners, because we try to integrate real-world environment with the academic environment and the practical. So they get to have that practical experience by also actually working out there, but also working in the IUEA labs. So we have e-mobility labs where we do all this work on electric systems for boats, for cars, for tractors, for motorcycles. We also have a plastic recycling lab where we take plastic that is clogging the streets in Kampala and creating a lot of environmental hazards. We take those, we recycle them into products. And the students, can learn how to save the environment, one, figure out how to use those plastics to create new solutions, which is the innovation we are also talking about, transforming one thing that is supposedly useless into something that is useful. That is, two, we have an innovation lab where students come in and just practice without fear. There's no, you are not going to be graded, or you failed, you did. No, you come in, how do we make this something move from point A to point B? You experiment with that. How do you make something think? How do you make a machine think? We show you how to do that, and students begin to produce things. So during COVID, we produced, the ventilator, because that was a big need, if you remember.
Definitely.
The ventilators were in short supply. So at the IUEA Innovation Lab, we produced a ventilator.
Okay.
We have a farm rover that can go around the farm and identify plants, identify whether the plant is healthy or not. We also, on the software part, these are hardware. On the software part, we have what we call ESOS Farm. Okay. ESOS Farm is a platform, software platform, that brings farmers and buyers together on that single platform. It also brings experts together. So a farmer who has, products can log in. It's on Airtel, USSD, star 222 hash, and then you follow the direction. So a farmer can register, put up what he or she has to sell, the quantity of it. People who are buying can see what that farmer has. So it allows them to now, get together. The same thing for experts. If you are a farmer and you are having difficulty with a crop or something, you can find experts.
You get on that, yes.
Yes, you get on that and you find a solution. So you can see that what we are doing, and all these things are open to students to learn, to see how these things work, and to get examples of solutions that they can create in other fields as well. So these are just some of the innovations. Of course, we already talked about the electric motorcycle. But there are many more, and these are the physical ones. But the most important thing is how we train our students, how we teach them, how we mentor them to think in a new way, to identify problems, and to apply all these skills that they are learning to these problems.
Well, we are still discussing technology and innovation, and I have Professor Emeka from the International University of East Africa with whom we are discussing this very important topic, because it is the way the world is now moving into technology and innovation. Innovations are what you're welcoming day by day, because these are solutions to the problems. We have so much, and the answer is science, technology, innovation. Now, allow me to go for a very short break. When I return, we'll still be discussing more regarding technology and innovation and the International University of East Africa. We return.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Hello?
Hello?
This is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Hey, Kasozi, my brother. Long time. We last met when we were at campus. It's been a while, but you are the person I'm looking for.
Campus? Really?
Hey, you don't remember me?
Okay, so how can I help you?
I'm stuck in Gulu making millions, and I need to urgently send money to my sick mother. But I can't find any mobile money agent near me. I've sent the money to your phone, as you can see the message. It might take a few minutes to come through, but I urgently need you to send the money to my mother. Let me send you her number, and you send it to her chap.
My friend, I'm afraid your mom is going to die.
What?
Because I don't know you, I never went to campus, and I'm also in Gulu. So can we meet at CPS, we talk about it?
Stay tuned for what Kasozi does next. Tofera, refrain from unnecessary engagements with strangers over the phone. This message is powered by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Glow as you are with the new Spark 10 series smartphone from Airtel in partnership with Techno. Own the timelines with picture-perfect selfies using the 32-megapixel selfie camera, 256GB storage, G88 gaming processor, and a strong battery to last the whole day. Haha! Towakana.
The Spark 10 smartphone comes with free 3GB from Airtel and 100% bonus on weekly and monthly bundles every every month for 3 months, so you can stay connected to a world of possibilities. Dial *100 *5 hash to enjoy free data. The new Spark 10 is available in all selected Techno shops countrywide. Airtel, the smartphone network in partnership with Techno. Stop at nothing.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Welcome back from that break, and thank you so much for being with us on UBC TV. I'm Robert Chirabo. In case you've just joined, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra, an extension of Good Morning Uganda. So we are here from the hour of 6:30. Make it a date with us. We want always to kickstart your day. There's so much that we have in our opener, some light moments, some jokes here. We brighten up, we spice up your morning, but not forgetting that it's a very informative show where we give you information regarding what is happening locally, internationally, and of course, we touch a number of topics. Now, in this particular segment, which is extra, we are today looking at technology and innovation, and I have the Vice Chancellor of the leading private university when it comes to science and innovation, that is the International East African University, and we are doing all it takes to see how this is being carried out at the International University of East Africa. Now, this is a regional university. But, Professor, let's look at also the ways of teaching. You know, we can't discuss technology and we don't look at, if really at the International University of East Africa, you know, you've come up with technology-led methods of teaching. Mm-hmm. Do you envisage this? Do you have this? Because I may not practically be able to be in class.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So just a quick addition to what you've said. We are not just regional. We are, in fact, continental or even global, if I may use that word, because we have students from over 43 countries studying at the International University of East Africa. So, of course, from Africa, from Asia, from Europe. So we are, in a way, the name might sound regional, but the impact is global, so to speak, because of the composition of our students. So yes, we teach in a student-centered way, and with what that means is we take the interest, skills of the students into account when we do what we teach. So the teaching is all around the students themselves, but of course the students lead some of the classes, so they exchange ideas, and the lecturers are there to guide, and of course the lecturers are there to start off with topics that are concepts, what have you. And then the students can internalize those things and come up with ideas. What can we do with this? What can we do with that? So that is how you create those problem-solving ability in the students. It's not the same as the lecturer standing in front of the classroom talking at the students copying notes, memorizing those notes, sitting for an exam, repeating, passing, and going out. They wouldn't be able to do anything. But when the lecturer introduces the concepts and then hands it over to the students to see what are the benefits of this, what are the disadvantages of it, what can you do with this idea, how can you implement it. Now the students begin to do some thinking on their own. So we are not a regional university, we are a global university because of the composition of our students. And what we teach, the way we teach it, our whole philosophy of being is what attracts a lot of students who are motivated, students who are driven to succeed. And that is why we're able to succeed. Now, that kind of teaching you can have in two ways. One would be just a mere classroom or classroom-only setting. The other one is also to incorporate new technologies like online, teaching. So the International University of East Africa went online in 2020. after the lockdown, because the lockdown happened in March of 2020. And by September of 2020, we've been able to put a very solid online platform together, which was accredited by National Council for Higher Education. So we started teaching online in 2020. That same platform was reaccredited in 2021.
Okay.
So we've been teaching online, and when schools reopened, we had to transition from an emergency type of online teaching to one they call, what they call the minimum standards.
Minimum standards.
Yes, for
online
teaching. Yes.
Okay.
So IUEA put in its minimum standard application way back in March of 2022. So we are moving ahead because we cannot sit back and use the old methods. COVID taught us a real lesson that technology is critical, right? Because before COVID, very few people thought about online. Of course, IUEA as a technological university had always been thinking about online, because one of the things that make us different is we think ahead. We don't just sit and do what is convenient today. We think, okay, tomorrow, how is the world changing? How might the world change? So we realize that with a global village, you need, a technology that has global reach. So the classroom teaching does not have that kind of global reach. It's more of a local reach. So we were thinking about adding online before COVID. But when COVID came, that was a perfect opportunity. So we are working with the National Council for Higher Education because we want to continue. We have students who are very eager. Our students are unique in the sense that we attract students of all types, but a lot of the students that we attract are those who are really interested in seeing how to use technology, how to use new ways of thinking to make a difference in the world. So they have embraced online studies very, very, they embraced it very much. And they encourage us. They keep, our students, they keep pushing us. We want you to do this. We want you to do that online. We want to study. And of course, there are many ways. Some people think online studies are, they're not serious. No, online studies is very serious because the technology is there to make it as effective as, teaching in the classroom. So one of the technology and innovation we are talking about has to be the online technology. A lot of universities, some universities are not so much into it, some are into it, but the reality is that it is a technology that will make a difference, because now you can sit in Arusha, Tanzania, and be able to study high quality, in a high quality way at the International University of East Africa, because we have what you are looking for. And with the online, we have technology that will enable the lecturer to engage with the student in real time.
Good.
We see the student. And because of the way the classrooms have been composed, the online classrooms are composed, there are techniques that we use to make sure that the student is engaged. Because one of the issue is that online the lecturer does not see the student. I could be doing
my own things.
Yeah, you could be doing,
just log in and
log in and tune out.
And tune out, yes.
And you are not listening. So with the way we handle it at IUEA, you can't just log in and tune out.
Okay.
Because we have groups, we have this platform we use enables the lecturer to engage any student at any time. And we train our lecturers to not just talk and assume that the students are there. So the lecturer gives quizzes, instant quizzes, asks questions, students random, select students randomly to ask them questions to make sure that they are engaged. So there are many ways, many things we use to ensure that our students are have not just signed in and tuned out. And when it comes to assessment, coursework and the like, people also think, students will just use ChatGPT, or they'll just go Google the answers and post the answers. But there are a couple of ways that is handled. The way you structure the question, so that it is not easy for a student to just copy, paste.
Well, time is running, but there's something also that I want us to miss out.
Yes.
You do have regular conferences.
Yes.
That's the International University of East Africa. And I've always asked myself, what is the intention of such, and what is the result in far as promoting technology and innovation?
The conferences we do, conferences, workshops, and seminars are key, to giving our students the opportunity to interact with people in the field, in the industry, people who have tremendous amount of knowledge. They come, they share it, our students participate in it, they provide, they write papers also. But it also allows us to discuss important issues of the day. In, I think in October last year, we had the climate change and food insecurity conference at the International University of East Africa, where Climate Change East Africa and a variety of other organizations that are actually working in this space came and presented papers. Our students presented papers also. And we came up with, certain solutions. And the conferences, therefore, aid us in teaching, because students can go on, give papers, exchange ideas with people in the industry. It also allows the country to gain knowledge from the participants, the lecturers, in terms of what is new, in terms of climate change, how Uganda can manage it, how East Africa or Africa as a whole can also manage it. So the key things are, it's a forum for exchanging ideas and solutions, and it's a forum for training our students as well. And it's a forum for industry to get new ideas as to how to do things. And this next month, we will be working with the Petroleum Authority of Uganda to create the first, oil and gas skilling conference. So this has to do with skilling. Uganda is going into the production of oil. Now, how will the companies that are involved in this, where will they get the skills from? Those who are teaching students, what do they need to teach? What skills do the industry need in order for them to be effective? So we are bringing those who are going to be doing the oil and gas drilling, the industries or schools that will be training the people that are needed, the policy makers, we are bringing them all together. And of course, the impact will be a better industry in Uganda for oil and gas, because those who are doing the training know what is needed. And so those are some of the things. We have a whole lot more, but we have a very beautiful auditorium that can seat 1,500 people. We have smart classrooms, because as part of the innovation and technology, our classrooms must reflect what we are teaching. So we have smart classrooms where students can come in with their gadgets, exchange ideas, on, student to student in the classroom, and the lecturer is looking at the interaction on, because I told you earlier that
yes, there's a system that you use that can monitor.
Yes, the techniques. So, online is a very good thing. It's a new way of working. And what that does to our students is that it allows our students to work the way the world works today. Because a lot of people sit here in Kampala and work for companies in the US, for companies in the UK, for companies in Nigeria, for companies in South Africa. They don't have to now sit face to face with their employers wherever the employer is. Everything is done online. Things are monitored online. So the discipline that is needed to do that kind of work, the skills in terms of technology skills that is needed to do that kind of work, the time management that is needed to do that kind of work, the problem solving solution that it takes to do that kind of work. So of course you are working with colleagues abroad and everywhere, but you still have to come up with the solutions, and the discipline that it takes to succeed today. All those we teach, using the student-centered approach, the smart classrooms, the innovations, the conferences, seminars, and the push for technology and innovation.
Well, Professor, before I let you go, recently you got a new chancellor at the university.
Yes.
What should we expect?
Yes, on February 15th, 2023, we installed our new chancellor, Ambassador Amina Jawahir Mohammed, a very skilled educationist. She was in charge of education in Kenya for a while. She's also a diplomat who has worked with, international organizations. So we expect a whole new set of things. We are looking at skilling. IUEA has been talking about the East African Skilling Center for a while, where we create opportunities to skill our people in the modern art of whatever it is they're doing, to be electricians, to be plumbers, to be mechanics, whatever it is, to skill them in the proper way. So with Ambassador Amina on board, we are looking at that kind of, it's skilling, focusing on skilling, and also on trade, international trade and African trade. African trade in the sense that with the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, Africa becomes the largest market in the world because 52 out of 54 countries in Africa have agreed to create a single market. So what does that mean for people who are studying trade, for people who are studying economics? So we are integrating all these things because we talk about solving real world problems, looking for opportunities. So we see this as an opportunity for our students. And if we're able to bring this on board, our students will be one of the first to help in terms of identifying opportunities across the continent and taking those opportunities into account to create massive business, continental businesses and the like.
Well, we can spend more time discussing technology and innovation at the International University of East Africa.
Yeah.
But Professor, I must let you go.
Thank you.
I will, however, give you at least a minute to have your parting shot.
Okay. So my parting shot is that the International University of East Africa has made significant advances in the areas of science, technology, applying these in the real world, and we intend to continue doing that. So for students across the globe who are interested in looking at how technology can be implemented in a real world solution to help people in terms of improving their net worth, to help societies, communities, and countries to grow, this is where you come. For those students who are looking for a modern way, how to work in the modern way, this is the university for you, the International University of East Africa. We are in Kansanga, here in Kampala, Uganda, and we welcome parents. We have a very beautiful campus that has all the amenities in terms of science, technology, green spaces, innovation rooms, smart classrooms, one of the best auditoriums in East Africa, and students from over 43 countries and lecturers from over 15 countries teaching and working and thinking on how to develop the human capital for the better of the individual and the country. So International University of East Africa, you can find us online, iuea.ac.ug. We are here in Kampala, Uganda, and we'll continue to push the envelope so we'll be the best in Africa.
Well, thank you so much for your time. And of course, in case you didn't have sufficient information regarding the International University of East Africa, well, there you go. If you want to excel in the field of technology and innovation, it is the place to go. Give it a try. Remember, this is the direction where the world is moving. And above all, well, we are blessed that it is a dream, a desire, and work in hard in progress to see that it becomes a center of excellence in the whole of Africa when it comes to pushing for science and technology. See you tomorrow. God bless you. Have a lovely day.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good